Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decipher corporate filings so you don't have to. Today we're diving into a Form 8K report from Co-Diagnostics Inc. And let me tell you, it's a bit like waiting for a delayed flight. You're hoping for good news, but you're prepared for anything. The scroll, Form 8K sit scroll. This report is a current report, meaning it's filed to announce significant events that investors should know about promptly. Think of it as an urgent news bulletin from the company. This report was triggered on February 21st, 2025. Scroll to Diagnostics, AENC scroll. The company we're talking about is Co-Diagnostics Inc. They are registered in Utah. You can also find out that the commission file number is 1-38148 and the IRS employer identification number is 46 Nyawas 2609363. Now this form has a few checkboxes asking if it's also meant to cover other types of filings like those related to communications about securities offerings or tender offers. But in this case, those boxes are all unchecked, meaning this report stands alone and isn't trying to satisfy multiple requirements at once. Next up, the report mentions that Co-Diagnostics has its scroll security 12B title common stock, PAF value $0.001 per share. Such scroll common stock traded on the Nasdaq capital market under the ticker symbol CODX. This simply means the company is publicly traded, so you can buy and sell its shares on the stock market. There's a question about whether Co-Diagnostics is an emerging growth company. An emerging growth company is a smaller company with less than $1.235 billion in revenue for its most recent fiscal year, and it has not sold more than $700 million of common equity securities in its first registered offering. They get some breaks from certain regulations to help them grow. However, in this case, the box indicating emerging growth status is not checked, meaning Co-Diagnostics is not considered an emerging growth company. Scroll item 8.01. Other events. Scroll. Now let's get to the meat of the report, what we're all here for. Item 8.01 is where they disclose the significant event that triggered the filing. It has to do with the 3 scroll. Co-Diagnostics trademark PCR COVID-19 test on the PCR Pro, the scroll company's press release about their COVID-19 test. It's an update on their 510K application to the FDA for its Co-Diagnostics PCR COVID-19 test on the PCR Pro. The final thing we can see is that Exhibit 99.1 has the press release. So what does this all mean? Co-Diagnostics is waiting for FDA approval for their COVID-19 test. The 510 pathway is how medical devices can get approved by showing they're substantially equivalent to something already on the market. Basically, they're trying to get their test out there for real-time analysis. Okay, let's step back and put this into perspective. Co-Diagnostics, like many companies in the diagnostics space, saw a surge in demand for their products during the height of the pandemic. Now, as the world adjusts, they're working to adapt and innovate. Getting this test approved would be a big win, potentially opening up new revenue streams, but it's not without risk. The regulatory process can be unpredictable and there's no guarantee of approval. Plus, the market for COVID-19 tests is becoming increasingly competitive, meaning even with approval, they'll need to fight for market share. Valuation is always tricky for companies like this. Their past performance was heavily influenced by a unique event, the pandemic. Looking ahead, it's about projecting their ability to innovate and capture market share in a changing landscape. Based on their current position, I'd say a fair price range for Co-Diagnostics would be somewhere between $3 and $4 a share. This assumes they can successfully navigate the regulatory process and carve out a sustainable niche for their products. I would tend to be on the bullish side and would aim to buy at the lower end of the price range. Thanks for tuning in to Corporate Decoder. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to subscribe for more plain English explanations of the corporate world.